it's basically a smack of desperation, because realistically speaking, you want to have air control. You want to control the airspace. You want to you have plenty of sunders, and maybe even some vehicles, and then control the spawn, the capture point itself. Maybe even suppress the spawn room. But the problem is, it just all comes back down to air control. They just simply don't have it.
How much time is left?
We have 1 hour and 6 minutes left. But if all the territory is lost, then it's game over anyway.
I think Miller would be able to do much better than that.
We'll see what Miller can do. I mean, they are coming back. Unlike last week, they are making some plays to get attacks. So they've saved Deadly Force Pass. Bridgeward is the next major fire point. Pale Canyon was an attempted attack. Bridgeward is where Cobalt is making their push. Now we're looking at Bridgeward itself.
Here come your gals. 2 gals coming right into Pale Canyon right now.
But the problem is that the capture point has been under. I don't get this. Understand the drops. It's a complete waste of time. There's so many scythes. There's so much infantry, and the capture point has gone on for so long that
Yeah, it looks like they were mopped up pretty well here. It still says there's almost a platoon of Miller in the hex. I wonder if they're just dead, waiting for their respawn.
Yeah. Talking about in Bridgeward?
At Pale Canyon.
It
says there's a lot of Bridgeward too.
NC push to A. Looks like they were all grouping in the building next door, and now they're running in.
It's a smoke push. 22 seconds though. I mean, we have Maxis pushing on the front, but
they're close.
The C4 light assaults on the top are just throwing all the C4. And look at all those Maxis that got blown up. I wonder if they were carrying flak armor. And they're all going in piecemeal, one at a time. And wow, look at the engineer turrets, and look at the C4 that's been prepared for them as they enter. Oh my god. Where's the conch grenades? Where's the, I was going to say, for the Miller Force, where's their conch grenades? Where's their, other deployables that they could use for the flag? Well, then again, implants could theoretically stop that these days. And again, it's just an example, they were forced to go through a death channel because it was too risky to go outside due to enemy air force. And congratulations to Cobalt to taking another base. Question for you, Lanzer, do you think you could start having a look and tallying up what the scores are? Basically 1 point for a single point base, 2 points for a large outpost, i.e., a tower, 3 points for the octagon, and 5 points for a major facility like a base tech plant.
Why, is there a question as who's winning right now?
Well, it'd be interesting to know the exact score. Because I'd like it for the, roughly around the 1 hour marker, just as an update. So Snowshear Watchtower is again slightly in contention, but that's 50-50. It doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. Pale Canyon Chemical has been fully saved by Cobalt. In the south, it looks like Miller was making an attempt on the bulwark, which we'll go have a look at.
I'm here right now. I don't see a single NC here.
It's
I see
basically
one.
been cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to come to anything.
Come on, we're losing this.
But it is, it's keeping pressure away from LA Forest Pass, but the problem is, Cobalt has made a lot of progress into Miller's territory. When you look at the map, and you have to wonder what's Miller going to do. Because during this whole fight, surely at a certain point you say, right, well, we actually need Air Force. And even if you only brought, like, say, 1 or 2 of your best pilots, like to form like a half platoon or a platoon of Air Force, you can rearrange. It's a 2-hour fight.
Do what you got to do. Although you're talking about another air battle, or pardon me, another armor battle, and looks like there's going to be another one over Bridgeward and Eli Tower now. There's one for the Octagon and Bridgeward, and now the other side of the bridge. tons of armor.
Yeah, well, we're seeing
This is the
Sky
biggest,
Guards, and we're seeing a
armor
lot of...
ServerSmash I've seen.
Yeah, we are seeing... But yeah, but the problem is that maybe we'll have to rethink this, especially hopefully Hossen will come out, because at the end of the day, the tech plant is super important, like super, super important. I think Cobalt realised it at the beginning because they get to fight with Mag Riders, and Miller is forced to stay behind and use lightnings.
Well, I guess that's one of the tactical decisions you make when you're planning your fights and stuff like that.
And
What
you
do
can argue that
prioritize,
the
you
team
know?
on the western side is at a disadvantage because their adjacent base, i.e. Esamir Munitions Corp, is 3 capture point. He just needs one person who can be a real troll and be irritating and stall. But conversely, if you're on the western side, you need to appreciate that and plan for it properly. Okay, so
Looks
from
like Miller's showing
Bridgeward,
a lot of spunk. They're pushing up to the other side of the bridge.
but the problem is that they are losing Old Shore checkpoint because of the 2 points that click into Bridgeward. They can attack Bridgeward and start the hack if they get there. Problem is they're losing Old Shore, and then they've got plenty of lightnings and armor, but it's needs to rotate down to Old Shore. It doesn't look like that many infantry either.
We haven't been up to the north for a while. I'm going to see what's going on with Snowshear. It looks like it keeps flipping back and forth one way or the other.
Yeah, there we go. There's some vanguards.
Well, the popular, I mean, the stream. I'm reading some of the comments in the stream. Right, 51 to 47%. Yeah, it's not perfect. There's a 4% imbalance, but that's pretty close. It's not like it's, I don't know, 30 to 50. It's not overwhelming. You're talking about a squad's worth. I mean, how would you balance that? You add extra people in, considering what we've got. I mean, if you've got an opinion, by all put it in chat.
And we unofficially wink winked. Well, Farah did.
I didn't say
Don't
anything.
do that.
You want to help?
Don't do that. That's opening such a can of worms that don't even...
That's what I mean. He winked.
Well, it looks like Miller's responding in kind. I mean, they are bringing in armor and lightning, but the nature of this base, since this redesign, is that you cannot pull armor in, and this is the big difference. The VS can use their air force that can bombard anywhere. They've got themselves a good, strong 1 squad on the capture point. 2 minutes to go. They're not actually defending the buildings, and Miller is controlling the adjacent building. I don't actually see. I mean, if there was an air force for Cobalt, it maybe would be useful to use the Ultra. Do you see
Cobalt? I was about to say that Cobalt's air force is all up at Snowshear Watchtower, all umpteen million of them. I'm surprised they're. I mean, in terms of where can they do the most good, I would think that they could do much more good at Bridgeward and Eli Tower rather than try and just farm the points up here.
Well, the thing is that the population numbers are actually 50-50, but Miller has a lot more ground vehicles. You know, Sunders. I actually even see a Vanguard, so someone actually brought a Vanguard from the warp gate. It's gonna lose it. Ah!
There's a few of them. Miller armor here at Old Shore. Doing a pretty good job of flanking the VS armor and taking them out.
No, Cobalt's been doing a really good job for the most part this time, and the map pretty much tells the tale. But I'm shocked at whoever's doing this this northern lane. It seems like it's all air. That is their entire. There's no boots on the ground except for one Sunday.
For all this pressure that Miller has brought in with their lightnings, and okay, now they're dropping with some squad beacons. They managed to get a squad beacon on the aerial, and they are dropping on the point, and they are bringing up at least a max for the print. There's a lot of pressure on the Cobalt forces, but they still hold the point. Miller has been at this base for at least 2 minutes, and they have not been able to stop the push. I think this is Vanu's Revenge that's here. I recognise some of the names. Res Grenade has picked up all the Vanu forces. This Miller group, whoever they are, needs to push in. They didn't go in at the same time. They didn't go as an organised team, but Miller's desperate now. They don't have an air force. I don't see any other vehicles. Okay, I see a Reaver now. Maybe it's trying to make a difference. 5 seconds until the base falls. Finally, a final push on the capture point. A 4-second final save by Miller. Holy hell, that was close.
In the meantime, I think they had to give up Eli Tower to do it.
Well, the bulwark is actually going in the favour as well of the NCO. Well, it was temporarily. I mean, that was a save. I don't believe the Vanu forces can do anything now because it's going back to about 20 seconds and they've all been wiped out and they're being corpse camped. So, I mean, that was a desperate last save. I mean, if they had the Air Force Thing is, if I was Cobalt Air Force, Snowshear's unlikely to
Eli Tower
happen.
cap in 1 minute.
But you would have your usefulness would be more effective in the south. And you're right, Ely Tower. Now the question is, can the NC force from Miller redeploy and get back to Ely Tower quick enough? Because that's a lot in the double building. There's a lot of VS in the double. You're right.
I think they have to choose one. You can't have both. If they go to Ely
and
Tower,
finally, the Air Force from Cobalt's turned up.
Yeah, I was going to say they left Snowshear. There's no one here anymore. I
Yeah,
wonder
I think
if
they should take
Miller's going
Old
to try and push on Freyr.
They should probably defend Old Shore, because it's much easier to defend an amp station than it is to just give them access to every lane they need.
Yep, well the capture point is still under slight contention because there's a huge bombarding force coming in on the capture point. They're just bombing heavily the defending force in the cap point, but it doesn't look like there's any infantry or enough infantry for Vanu to make a difference on the cap point. I really don't understand. We're going to have to ask the questions here, what's going on with the Miller Air Force, because I haven't been able to see much of it at all. And Ely Tower, is that gone through yet?
It just went through.
It just went through.
It looks like, alright, Bulwark is still being captured for the NC. 50 seconds, oh wow, look at the ground attack. Because there's no air contention, the Air Force for Cobalt is essentially all of it is anti-ground. Even to the point where they're landing and spamming. Look at the amount of firepower going to that capture point. I mean, it is smart, don't get me wrong. Looks like some of Wasp forces on the capture point, but the thing is, they are all being absolutely supremely suppressed.
So the Old Shore checkpoint is about to be flipped in 30 seconds again. So I don't know if people left or if VS just stabilized and were able to push back in.
Well, the NC came in, very briefly destroyed the attacking force, but the VS just came back in and mopped up, and then they were able to contain the NC at the spawn. So there was a little bit of a defense at Old Shore, but it didn't work. Because right now you can see they're at their spawn.
Yep, well, it's been
what used to be.
Bulwark's been saved by Cobalt forces. It's just that painful to watch Air Force just completely dominant and being abused by Cobalt to the absolute extreme.
It always goes back to Matheson, because I mean, last time the biggest rag on Miller was that they overcommitted, they quote unquote overcommitted to air, and
I don't think it was the committal
Matheson
to air.
didn't.
I mean, it
Right.
was the committal to air is what some people say, but it was more that Matheson was using their numbers, redeploying when necessary, and they were playing smart. Like, if you had a base that took 5 minutes to capture and a base that took, let's say, 3 minutes to capture, Matheson would work on the 3-minute base capture, and Miller would work on the 5-minute base capture. Matheson would take the 3-minute base capture and then use that 2 minutes that Miller was still waiting to capture their base in a massive redeploy and save, and that way they get a base and they get a save. And that was essentially what happened for the rest of the whole ServerSmash and Miller Matheson. Matheson outplayed Miller. Exactly. And
right, but I think that maybe what happened is in the meetings for this ServerSmash, people were saying, well, we don't need air because we had air last time and we didn't need it. So this time let's overcommit to other things and look at so they didn't bring the same air presence that they have previously.
Yeah, they might have thought. That might exactly been what they're going through, but I think what they might have underestimated is that in that Matheson match, it was a 2-lane battle. Whereas this is a continent-wide.
This
is a 5-lane battle.
The other one was a 5-lane too. It was 240 v 240.
Well, we're currently up at
I was thinking of the other one then.
We're at Freyr substation, and we've got a couple of Mag Riders trying to engage on the north side. Some Miller Sunders and Skyguard, Lightnings, mixture of AP and oh wow, they're just being bombed so hard by enemy air forces. This is just painful to watch. I mean, they're just basically in the open, in a group, being bombed by heavy armor and aircraft. It's just ouch. I mean, there's nothing more you can say to it. This just sums up the whole ServerSmash.
It's pretty much impossible to keep a spawn up. If you don't have the air presence, trying to keep a spawn up for 4 minutes or 7 minutes is just pretty much becomes impossible, especially if there's not a garage for the Sundies to hide in. But even with that, I mean, a top-tier pilot, can get around that fairly easily.
The problem is there's just so much air that if they've got 10 aircraft, you need at least 5 Skyguards who are working together in organised comms. And it's just too easy for the Air Force to, evade. And, the Air Force can get over the walls and they can bomb the base. What would make this extremely interesting, right, is if they actually went ahead and got the dome shields. Remember the dome shield concept they had right back before they started optimization? They were going to bring out a sort of shield system where you had to go, low enough and under the shield to actually bomb underneath. That, I don't know if that would make a difference in this actual game mode, or maybe or not. I guess it's your personal preference. Do you feel that air has too much of a dominating influence on PlanetSide gameplay?
Yeah.
If used correctly, it definitely can. It scales pretty well.
I just don't think there's enough of a counter.
Because in the moment, the only counter to air is your own air, and Cobalt is just absolutely dominating with air to the point where they're all now ground attack.
Well, I mean, to say that, yes, that may be the case, but to say that air is OP, nerf air or whatever. I mean, Miller has every opportunity to pull air. They have the exact same, other than the faction differences, they have every opportunity to pull just as much air.
Well, they did
it's
earlier.
Their choices that matter.
Yeah. The thing is, as the map stands now, they're going to be hurting for resources in terms of. We can already see that they're making a push now in Ellie Pass at Forest Pass, so we're going to have a look at that.
I know that Woodman was Woodman was had lost a lot of territory in the Connery-Woodman match, and from what I heard, resources, I mean, they were able to pull hundreds, seemingly hundreds of maxes for the. Well,
yeah, because the infantry resources are the last thing
at the end. So
infantry resources are the last thing you lose, though. Air resources are on the fringes. That's why they didn't have air, because they did contest air-wise, but the game mode was base capture, not territory capture or territory points. That's why we changed it. So they focused purely on the bases, while the other team focused purely on the territory around the bases. Which is why at the very end they were completely starved dry from. Because they didn't have a connection back to their warp gate, so they couldn't spawn as much. And
seems we've just had a mass TS crash, so just a heads up, you may be getting DC'd and coming back.
Oh shit, Luya.
Thank you, Luya.
When did you get here?
I've just got here.
Panzer.
Just a heads up. Okay.
So big drop in from Miller. So Miller has responded again to Ellie Pass with another Galaxy drop. But the problem is there's so many Vanu forces actually in this double building and on the roof. I have to question whether or not it's enough. We just need to look at the minimap and we can see what's going on. For once, the Galaxy for Miller isn't instantly picked off. We check the population numbers for Ellie Pass. It's about 60-40 roughly. And it looks like Pale Canyon. When did Pale Canyon Chemical get recaptured by the VS?
Just now.
Okay. Lanzer, how are we doing on the points?
Not what? I can't find the attachment.
I'll do it. Alright.
But suffice to say, VS has a lot of.
Well, here's a question for you, right? I mean, alright, so now we're watching a squad of Miller walking in single file, trying to recapture the base. The problem is they're outnumbered at least 2-1. Before they even get to the building, they're being picked off. Is Cobalt's victory going to be as dominating as Connery's victory last week? Where It was the last couple of bases. Do you think so? Because we've still got 48 minutes to go.
It might, because it sounded like Miller just had issues with DCs, so that might do something. But I'll have to count it. I would be impressed. I would be impressed because you still have to take Snowshoe, you still have to take Envari, and you still have to take Eli and Jaeger Crossing. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 7-minute captures with multiple point bases. I would be
well, there's
really
a huge firefight going on currently still for Ellie Force Pass. I mean, Mercenaries has turned up along with maybe 1 or 2 other squads. It's basically a res grenade fight, healing grenades, lol what, and there were some medic shields as well. Very few maxes. This is just a very chaotic fight. Everyone's killing everyone. It's even down to pistols. Dude, behind you. Oh, and this reinforcements for Van in the Roof looks like, if you just look on the mini-map, lots of Vanu airs come into the fight. Capture point was in Miller hands, but looks like it's slowly being wrestled back. It's now back in, oh wow, it's now back in Cobalt hands. If you're gonna troll me, actually get a proper name. Anyway, wow. Alright, we're going back to the actual bombardment, and that's some pretty impressive spawn suppression by Cobalt's Air Force again. Miller did a really good job of getting to the capture point. It was highly chaotic. In fact, they're actually coming across the bridgeway. I don't think this is enough though, because even ignoring the fact that there's a massive air presence, they are supremely outnumbered when they get into the base. Maxes themselves, you gotta watch out for the C4. 60 seconds, maxes, no support. There's some of them are mercenaries. Engineer turrets, and look at the double C4 waiting for the trigger by the medics. Even if these guys charge up, this is gonna be painful.
Massive props to whoever that's near your watchtower. The NC. They've been repelling the VS a lot of this game.
It's a really nice base to hold.
Capture point is actually being... Oh, they've moved up the other staircase. We missed that briefly. So the capture point has been... well, it's under contention, but it looks like it's been saved by the NC. Miller again. And now they've pushed up.
Looks like they came from Pale Canyon.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's pretty brutal. Weird. Thing is, where did Cobalt's Air Force score? Are they still bombarding the spawn room, or were they not watching the other side of the building? The thing is, look at the reinforcements coming in for Cobalt on the minimap, guys. It is just crazy. I mean, Miller's doing some really good getting in there, doing some push and holds, but they're just simply not holding the cap point for long enough.
There's an infiltrator part
Still win this.
at Frostbit Harbor on top of the building. It's like an entire squad of infiltrators just watching the spawn.
Well, on the capture point at Ellie Forest Pass, NC holds one of the top spawn rooms. Well, when I say spawn rooms, capture point rooms. Oh, they're being slowly flanked from behind now. I mean, it was one half the building NC, one half the building VS, but looks like they've been flanked from behind, and now Cobalt finds himself in position of the double building again. They're still extremely dominant air forces for Cobalt suppressing the spawn room. I don't see, in the limited time that Miller has, that they're getting the space back. I mean, they need to hold the capture point for literally 4 minutes to get it saved fully.
It's about 65 to 34.
Oh, territory at Ellie.
Yeah. My rough quick count. Few going back and forth.
Nah, I think they've realised what's going on, and then that's about to be game over. 10 seconds, and then they've got the space.
Keep rolling. You've got this.
In fact, the thing is, the creative names this guy is coming up with is kind of hilarious. Yeah, the big thing is, Cobalt's Air Force has now moved on to the amp station, and they're now proceeding to bomb all the turrets, which is smart. It's softening up the base. You can tell that Cobalt. I'll be super impressed if Cobalt takes the amp station, because at the end of the day, this is an old school amp station. This is a 7-minute base hack. So that's to be seen. We'll see if they come up. We're gonna go over to Pale Canyon again. I'm going to have quite an impressive ignore list at the end of this. Pale Canyon Chemical. NC, that's Miller, has got pop advantage. Did when I got here. It's slowly running out though. It's 50-50 for population. They've got a couple of maxes. Looks like one of them's actually a burster, which I suppose makes sense. Now the question is, with the recent capture of Ellie Forest Pass, does the VS in the south want to keep the pressure on Ellie Amp Station, or do they want to come to their Pale Canyon Chemical and save their own base? What's going on here? It's like Black Group by Dime? I guess. Where are they proceeding to go to? They can't really go anywhere. I don't understand what this group of NC is doing.
Where?
We have a small group of NC that are between Anvari Frozen Reservoir and Pale Canyon Chemical, and they're actually looks like they're proceeding slightly north to Esamir Munitions Corp. Whether or not they're just trying to be a block for air, I'd have thought there'd be better positions. Looks like this extremely low-flying Liberators. Well, he was looking to probably come up behind that air group that we noticed earlier. Anti-air group. He's doing some extremely good low-ground flying.
Looks like an escort.
Got this. Don't let
It's
up.
like they're trying to escort this Sunder.
Oh wow! I just discovered I found Miller's Air Force right here, guys. That's Miller's Air Force right there. See if you can't take out that Liberator. Oh, he's bailing off. I don't get it.
Ah.
The Miller Air Force just doubled. Yes.
That group of oddly placed NC
Yes.
took a position in between Pale Canyon and Esamir Munition and a rock, and they just have a shitload of burster maxes.
Oh, nice Dalton shot and language. Nice Dalton shot by that Liberator picking off the Reaver. Now is incoming Reaver. So incoming Liberator, the Reaver came in to back up his buddy. It looks like they decided just to give up on the Lib.
Holy cow, that's a lot of maxes at Pale Canyon.
I'm going back to Pale Canyon, have a look.
They just pushed anything resembled NC out of there.
Oh yeah, we missed that. Sorry guys, we're just having a look at the air fight that was going on. Looks like we got some Reavers in the sky. Try not to tweak too much. We actually have an air fight going on. Miller has pulled Air Force, but it doesn't look like it's enough. Got a lot of scythes. I guess it's kind of a free-for-all at the moment. It's hard to say what's going on, or who's got the upper foot. The important thing is on the actual ground, however, the Cobalt forces have taken the capture point back. What? Reaver just rammed into the max for Cobalt.
Wow, if I was ever going to attack an amp station, Cobalt has probably a good half a dozen Sundays for spawns that are setting up probably throughout the hex. Inside, outside, all around. They will not ever... I'm surprised they can deploy all of them. That's impressive.
We're actually beginning to see a relatively healthy amount of Reavers from Miller. I mean, the problem is that I don't know if these are good pilots or whether or not it's a case of everyone pull a Reaver, so we've got some novices. But the problem is I'm seeing is that the Reavers are actually trying to take on the Liberators rather than taking out the ESFs, scythes first. It's libs on libs, scythe on Reaver, or ESF on ESF, and you know, that's the way you go at it first, as far as my limited air knowledge goes, because the Liberators themselves are just too tanky. I and any elite pilot, Camtex. But they are basically being pushed back to their warp gate. Right, if we have a look at the map and have a feed update now, we can see that Enviri Frozen Reservoir is under attack, leading up to Enviri Biolab, although they are at number 2-1. Doesn't look like they're going to hold on to it long because NC has some stuff sundered. Yep, and they've got the capture point back. So the Cobalt force that was at Enviri Frozen Reservoir has been taken out. Is that true? Aidstron. Most of Miller's Air Force was MDK. 20 minutes before the start, they all signed off.
Interesting.
Interesting. I'm just reading the Twitch chat right now.
I saw it too.
You've got this.
We'll have to ask. It looks like both the...
Yep. 15 seconds and
looks
then...
like both the generators are down for... Oh, that's got to be a bug. It says the one of the generators is up on my minimap, but yeah, it looks like they are well and truly dug in on the point. I wonder if Miller's going to pull a Woodman and bring the biggest max crash this side of Araxis.
Well, there's a bit of pride here because when it comes to most defendable bases, this is going to be one of them.
Miller's bringing in, they have 1, 2, 3 Sunderers of their own. I wonder if they're going to try and Bulldog within, because last time Connery just gate shield diffused everything, and it ended up, working, not working. Woodman pulled quite
both
a few
shields, the external shields are down. I mean, technically speaking, for VS, they actually want the shields to be up, so they can't be bombarded.
That was what I was coming to. I was like, Cobalt did it the exact opposite way. They did it conventional, take down the gens and move in type of way. I wonder if that's going to play into their favor, yes or no, because they can shoot out too.
It's just second nature to repair the generator, but technically speaking, Miller didn't really want to repair that generator.
Yeah, they just...
Oh, this one lightning's caught out guard now. He was spawned, and he can't get back inside. Okay, gate diffusing Sunder, and the problem is, was he turning when he hit the gate diffuse? No, he wasn't. Oh, yes, he was. No, he wasn't. He bounced off his Sunder that was on the inside.
Get in. I thought that they said that they were working on... They found the bug for the gate shield diffuse.
Yeah, finding it and fixing it are two different things, though.
It's very true. I have faith in you, Higby. Don't let me down.
Or his ability to motivate his coders.
There you go. I think they leave that for T-Ray to be the quote-unquote motivation to get wrecked speaker.
Oh, well, I can only imagine being one of his artists. I'm sure it's a thrilling job experience.
Everyone follow T-Ray.
He just... No. T-Ray, right, to motivate people, that looks good. You know, you could motivate you, and then he just rips off his shirt and shows his pecs, and he just does like sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger muscle poses behind you at the desk. While... You
hear that, T-Ray? Everyone wants to see it. We want to see it get wrecked.
It's probably already happened at the pool party at SOE Live. But with regards to this base, Eliamp Station, lots of Sunders are actually being pulled in for Cobalt. They've got themselves a PPA harasser, which just looks absolutely painful. Watching one of the entrance points, lots of Sunders continuously being pulled. Population-wise, 50-50. But I don't know how much of NC Miller is on the outside. I mean, Miller is going to have to do something pretty special here because there's only 60 seconds to go, and then the SCU itself is going to be exposed, and that for me would be the next big push if I was Cobalt to take care of the SCU spawn, and then you can almost guarantee the capture. So it's 50-50 Eliamp. In regards to Frostbite Harbor, I don't understand. There's two squads taking Frostbite Harbor.
Here comes the max crash at Eli. Big,
actually,
holy cow.
Are they going outside? Oh, they're on the roof. They're on the roof. They are. Oh my god, they're going to come down on the capture point.
I've never done it in that size, in that scale.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
I'm gonna follow these.
It's gonna come in. The problem is you can see that they're prepping up all the C4. Oh, this is beautiful C4 just all over the place with mines. Here they are. Max is on the C4. They didn't blow the C4 up, so most of the Maxes have got rid. They're on the capture point. They're clearing up the balcony. They've come in on top. They've got the high ground now on all the Sunders, but the Sunders, if they actually get manned gun-wise, can just look down on the Maxes. Maxes are all anti-infantry weapons. I don't see anti-vehicle. Oh, but there's so many Maxes though, and there's so many infantry. This is surely enough for a base save.
They heard me.
I mean, the Furies and the Bulldogs for the Vanu Sunders, they're trying to make a difference. If Vanu wants to spawn in, they're going to have to spawn in the Sunders. That's assuming everyone's got one Sunder per squad. But the NC is now beginning to take off from the high ground. They're C4ing. I don't know if they've got enough engineers for mine laying.
I suppose they haven't taken out the Sunders yet.
Well, they probably have the wrong classes. I don't see AV mines and I don't see anti-vehicle Maxes, and this is the problem. So we've got C4 from light assaults and we've got C4 from medics, but these are fully composite armoured Sunders. Finally they all go down. One last gate defusing Sunder, but the gate has been saved. And we're going to have to reset now. Well, at least the Cobalt forces are going to have to reset.
They're still doing it the conventional way. They've got all 4 gens prepped.
Okay, so that's what's going on in chat here. I'm just reading chat, so if anyone watches the stream later, because I know Twitch chat isn't included. Half of Miller's Air Force apparently didn't turn up, and that is why Miller's been playing in a sort of gimped format at the moment. And Cobalt presumably has gone either platoon heavy or very air heavy, and Miller, without having response, is suffering. In that instance, I'd probably try and get another platoon or group to take over the air role. But to be honest, if someone says I'll be your Air Force and doesn't turn up, there's a lot of questions to be raised. Why didn't you turn up? Why didn't you help us out? I wouldn't want to be that kind of outfit on the server.
I wouldn't want to have to be their rep to try and make those calls.
Well, the thing is, the amp station is being dominated again by Cobalt's Air Force, and we've got some gate diffusing Sunders where 50-50. One didn't make it in, the other one did. He's gate diffusing into the A point. A point is actually flashing. Alright, the problem with this observer camera is I have to fly just fast enough to get inside, but not fast enough so I fly at the other side.
To overshoot it, yeah.
Dope. There we go. So, I mean, there was another force of Vanu that was able to push in, but the problem is the balcony is now properly being defended. We've got a good number of C4 and anti-vehicle mines laying on the ground floor of the vehicle bay, and it looks like Miller's made a successful defense. But the problem is that they've had to commit a lot of numbers, or at least some numbers, to defend Ellie Amp Station. They've lost the hack on.
Though is the thing.
Yeah, they are still at pop now, but the thing is, I wonder if they've gone somewhere, because they're Frostbite Harbour. They were taking it, now they've lost it. Snowshoe's been saved, and they are actually attacking with at least 2 squads for their substation, so I might actually go up there if you want to stay here.
See what's going on. Yeah, stay at the big fight. I want to see what's going on up north.
4-minute hack timer started. I don't recognise the names, so I'm just waiting for the map to load. Oh, just as a thing, it's FRC. The reason I found out why all of the servers, outfits on the server group use the same server tag, so that they can communicate more easily via, outfit and outfit leader chat. So it allows an extra form of chat, where it doesn't matter if you keep moving squad leadership. It makes it difficult for us to figure out who's, what outfit. It's an organizational thing.
They're out, Matt. Finish them off.
The shields are down again, and PPAs, my god, it's PPA after PPA. The problem is they're in an enclosed urban environment. I don't see those Magradars living very long. What is that mag doing after burning into the base? Fair enough. Now, this is perfect for Cobalt. If they can keep the shields down and they keep air control, and I wonder where that air control is, they can suppress the spawn room.
Freyr geothermal, I was just there. Or not geothermal, pardon me, substation.
So they're basically using their Air Force for defense first, offense second.
Seems that way.
Now this is interesting.
Not being in their comms, it seems like they're just mostly about spawn denial.
See, it's interesting how these links work. Now that they've got their hands on Frostbite Harbour, this being the Vanu team, they are actually attacking Everett Supply Co. and Two Stone Beach. If they pull off these hacks, all resources are going to be absolutely throttled. We've got about 27 minutes left on this base camp.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, even Woodman had very few territories by the end, and they were still able to pull, like I was saying before, they were still able to pull quite a few maxes. So,
yeah, I mean, but the thing is that the infantry resources...
With the other two continents, you know, being capped the way they are, it's very hard to actually run out of all the resources that you're needing, especially if you've pre-prepped and you've done your homework and pulled 40 grenades beforehand. You just save your resources for max pulls.
So the main team seems to be Everett Co-Supply, and we do see... Wow, there's a lot of Miller Armor, who's actually outside the amp station. They're actually to the north of Everett's supply company, but they're not coming in. It looks like a very cunning scythe pilot has landed, put down a beacon. A friend of his has got a max, I'm not entirely sure how, whether they hacked terminal or he got a drop with a gal or something, I'm not sure. Maybe they have a Sunder. But population-wise, we have 2 squads at least on the capture point, hiding. Oh wow, they've got at least 2 maxes, if not more. 3 maxes, 4 maxes, 5 maxes. Holy... Wow, okay, so... This is going to be tricky. Everett Supply Co., 2 minutes to go, very firm defense. The Miller Armor is moving away from Everett Supply Co. Maybe they're not looking at their map. None of the the Miller forces are actually going to come to Everett, I don't think. And Two Stone Beach...
Got at least 2 squads there.
Yeah, Two Stone Beach has also not been saved. I'm going to have a quick whip over to Two Stone. A minute 30 on Two Stone. Although it looks like we have very small forces responding for Two Stone.
There's quite a bit of VS armor that's coming into Eli Amp right now.
Cobalt is literally knocking on Miller's front door right now. Okay, so we were looking now down the south. Ellie Amp Station's actually been saved with regards to Miller has pushed out. So Miller has pushed out to Ellie Tower and Ellie Forest Pass. The problem is they're actually being attacked from behind. They need to make those saves. Reasonable defensive numbers of 2 squads at Elliot Tower. As far as Forest Pass is concerned, we can see that there's about at least 1 squad. It's very nicely done. I like the organisation here. I like the 2-pronged push out. The problem is that if I was Cobalt, I'd probably whack 1 problem at a time. Now, then again, maybe I tell you what, better yet, take these 2 bases, totally cut off all reinforcements. And Frostbite Harbour is now under a contention. Miller is about to take it back. They've saved Two Stone Beach, and they're attacking Frostbite Harbour. So that's the start.
It looks like, I mean, the VS. I mean, it looks like they're trying to go for the warp gating, and they're losing all the outposts around Eli because of it. So I guess I don't know if they're just prioritizing, the
completely uncontested Everett Supply Co. and just got taken. Now the thing is, the forces at Everett Supply Co., do they go back and help save Forest Pass and Ellie Tower? Or do they go to Two Stone and enforce the hack and then completely cut off all reinforcements?
I don't know. If I was them, I mean, yes, I think that to push for the warp gate so aggressively the way they were.
Well, it's also a prestige thing. We took both your
they
territories and we capped out your warp gate.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if they think that they can just get back in time, perhaps.
Yeah. Well,
because it's pretty much been a stalemate up at Snowshear and Freyr Subterranean. Every time Miller tries to push up to Freyr Subterranean, or I keep saying Freyr Subterranean, Freyr Substation, they can't sustain the spawn, which has been pretty much
Well,
a theme
it looks
throughout.
like Wasp, a squad of Wasps are attempting to retake the capture point. It looks like they're actually maybe already be a little bit late at Elliot Pass, Forest Pass. They were pushed off at one point, but a lot of reinforcements from Miller coming in to help out. They've got the capture point again. It's 2 minutes 30 until the base cap goes through. You can see maybe a couple of straggling, maybe one. I don't know what that mag rider's going to do. He can maybe get some good advantage point. But Cobalt Air, it's too many lightnings and sunders, unfortunately.
Now, if you're Miller, what do you think? Do you think that you'd rather try and cap behind him and push out from Eli, or would you rather stop the forces that are knocking on your door?
Well, first thing is I'd save Two Stone Beach. Frostbite Harbour, you need to get that. Essentially you need to push back in a lot of places. The number of viable fights, however, are shrinking. So it's easier for Cobalt to hopscotch back and forth on just a couple of bases and just play the defense game. A lot harder for Miller to make progress.
Yeah, you can just pick and choose, I suppose.
Yeah, and there's a big response coming in by Cobalt. Admittedly, they're outside, but they're not being bombed because, in fact, if anything, the Miller force is outside. No, that was friendly fire. This Cobalt was actually bombing their own guys outside. Oh, those mag riders are actually going through the rows. I wonder if they're going to go around and hit the Miller vehicles from behind. We'll go follow them in a second. Master Chief from Mercenaries is like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to go upstairs. Hey guys, how you doing? There's a lot of people out there. Come repair me. Now, as far as those mag riders were concerned, they have pushed, and they are up to the base. The thing is, I wonder if they're going to actually go back up the hill. In fact, all the armor is dead now. I was going to say there was a bunch of NC Miller armor outside the base, but that's all
Not
gone.
anymore.
80 seconds until the capture point is taken, or rather the base is taken. It's a lot. It's probably mercenaries here, and there's probably wasps from the outfit tags that I could see. The question is, can Cobalt make a save? I mean, they've picked off all their armor. They've picked off any air force that they had. Hard spawns are going to be tricky, although it looks like, I'm just going to see if they've got a spawn sunder at all, because they're coming across the bridge line. They did have a sunder, but it's about to get picked off. Sorry, yeah, there we go. So their sunder is about to get picked off, but they do have a lot of people on the point. The point itself is still being held, but they're being attacked from all sides. From the roof.
Yeah, they got to get out of their tanks, though. That's not going to help them. Unless they gal drop on top.
30 seconds. Vanu are on the point. Light assaults. Just look at the minimap, guys. There's lots of pressure coming in here. Cobalt does not want to lose the point. Still pushing very hard. Light assault's going to the point. Every time they get on the point, a few seconds is all they need. It's just
about four
dodgy.
people at saving Eli Forest Pass for NC right now that are still on the point.
There's no reinforcements for the Miller, and Cobalt is just grenading hardcore. Incoming with light assaults, and it's just all light assaults that we're seeing. Coming in and attacking mercs from behind. I'm assuming it's mercs. And just picking them off with explosives and grenades. It's just too much, and they're just being suppressed. Oh, 10 seconds to go! I mean, kudos to Miller for holding on for so long, but that is a very difficult thing to hold on to. And the fact is that often you'll find that teams will make absolute last-minute pressure push on the 10-second marker, and they'll just charge in regardless, rather than playing cautiously. So even if they got to like the last 5-second marker,
I was rooting for Miller on that one.
Many Cobalt, yes, absolutely, but
whoever was playing the NC at Eli Forest Pass held out much longer than I thought they should.
Well, in the north, Snowshear Watchtower still hasn't been taken, and it's the fight for Fair Substation has been saved. And Vary Frozen Reservoir is under contention, 2-1 outnumbered on the VS. VS are outnumbering 2-1. Two Stone Beach is also being attacked, and Everett Stone is also being attacked, and so is Frostbite. So there's a lot of fights going in a lot of places. Ellie Amp Station itself is also being attacked. It's basically fights going all over the place.
There's
Although it
still
looks like
a
it's just
lot
an
of
infiltrator.
VS here at Forest Pass. I'm surprised that they're not moving out. Maybe they want to make sure that it goes through before they push anywhere.
Well, we're at Frostbite Harbour. NC attack looks like mostly uncontested. I think maybe Dime. It's hard to say. Yeah, at least one Dime. Just a couple of strikers. Alright, now we have a force of Vanu coming in, trying to take the capture point back, but the problem is we have a defense set up by at least one squad of Miller. Liberal amounts of smoke being used by Cobalt's engineers. They're using those Brox as cover, and yep, can't see anything. Good game, guys.
You've got this. Don't let up.
Well, it's a little bit precarious, but we can see what's going on. We can see that Miller forces are trying to slowly move in. They are pushing up the spawn room. Smoke has thankfully stopped, but I'll just play the dangerous game for a little bit longer. Nobody here, nobody to see. Looks like they have successfully pushed in and defended. Alright, like, hold on. I was never there. Okay, so the Miller force has been pushed back to the top of the double doors. I think it's just too many Cobalt forces.
I mean, at this point, you know, it's really about choke points and can you hold Snowshoe Watchtower? Can you hold Eli? Can you hold Mvari? You know, and it's really hard. Like I was saying before, it's really hard to push past a lot of those, especially with the time that we still have.
We're going to go to Frozen Reservoir because it looks like, although they're coming from spawn, there's only one Sunder that's been picked off. We're going to go to Frozen Reservoir now. It looks like the TR, sorry, not TR, I keep saying that. It looks like Miller has come in, and they're outnumbering the enemy now 2-1, and they've managed to get the capture point back. So it was both teams responding, and this is the question. Rather than playing the defensive game at Anvari Frozen Reservoir, could you have sacrificed the numbers to force the Frostbite Harbour to go through, and then redeploy back to Anvari Reservoir and then make a save? So rather than, you know, both teams having a defensive gameplay where they don't lose anything, I think Miller has to be more aggressive, maybe risk it all if they want to, you know, try and push to get more bases back. All right. Now, with regards to, wow, Two-Stone, lot of Vanu air right outside Miller's warp gate. The thing is, Miller's got the capture point. It doesn't look like there's any Cobalt ground forces, unless, no, I take that back. They do have some Sunders. They are beginning to push up with some squads. I guess they're just bombarding the doorways. Oh, we got some Innie Elite here. I recognise Kruniak. So maybe it's some Innie that are actually trying to defend the point, or at least one of them.
Yeah, it looks like Frozen Reservoir. They just slammed the door on that.
I don't recognise the other names. I only recognise one name. Well, 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go, so about half the cap timer is already expired. And Cobalt have their hands again on the capture point at Two-Stone Beach. On top of that, they have complete air domination and control, and it is a brutal run from the spawn room to the capture point. You have to cross the road, and it's just supremely difficult with basically when you don't have air control, especially since Cobalt's Air Force primaries and secondaries are all air to ground. I mean, at this point, to save the base, it's probably not worth running from the spawn room. It's actually probably worth grabbing a Galaxy and coming in from the warp gate, because you're so close.
Might as well. Although, I mean, when you have so many, I mean, you could, if nothing else, you can ram a scythe. It's not like Cobalt's probably starving for resources at the moment.
There's nobody on the capture point. You could grab the point, but then I guess the question is, what next? You've grabbed the cap point, great. Now you're getting bombarded by all the PPAs and, you know, law pods. What can you do then?
Looks like one squad gate diffused, probably one squad of VS gate diffused into Eli Amp right now.
Yep, we see that. Might go back. It's 52-44. Snowshoe is heating up as well. I'll go to Snowshoe. You tell me what's going at Eli Amp. We'll come back to Two-Stone in a second.
You're going to Snowshoe? Okay, I'll stay here at Eli. Cool.
Mission systems being annoying. It does look like Miller is trying to push out to Charlie capture point, and because Cobalt's Air Force has been entertained elsewhere, i.e. down at Two-Stone, Miller's infantry forces can't push out, although it doesn't look like it's a huge fight. It's just a couple of numbers. Well, I say couple, I mean like maybe 1 or 2, 3 squads.
I'll be interested to know what the chat room thinks. We have. Would you guys rather have a whole bunch of gate diffusers and keep the generators up, or would you rather go in conventional warfare style and hold out so you can shoot out as well?
Well, inside the alien camp, it's risky. But the thing is, if you've got air control,
it's risky either way because I mean you can't bring anything. You know, one gate shield diffuse goes down, or if it doesn't work with the bug or something, and
I think Snowshear's in it.
Goes out of the way.
Snowshear's in.
So tell me, I'd be interested to see if we can do a straw poll real quick to see what people's viewpoints are.
I was going to say, this has been a long 20-minute hack going on at Snowshear. A point has been held by Miller, and Bravo and Charlie has been held by Cobalt. Although Cobalt can't get any other armor, and the simple fact is that they're slowly capturing the base at Snowshear. I mean, there's only about 3 minutes left to go when I look at the map. And with regards to the amp station, my opinion is that if you do not control the airspace,
don't influence the Twitch. Don't influence. Let them decide.
How are you gonna? If you want to make a straw poll and post the thing as straw poll, you go ahead and do that. I'm going to make my opinion known in about 20 seconds. Then, if you don't own air, well, okay, 20 seconds is up, right, whatever. But the fact is, if you don't own air control and you don't own ground control, you want the shields up. Period. But if you have air control and ground control, then yeah, it's actually more of a hindrance. You want to keep the shields down so you can keep suppressing the point.
Miller's coming in from the roof again. Looks like they're trying to make a fight of it. They're popping in and out behind the shield on the point.
Problem is that they can't go on the roof because this time there's Air Force to block them.
Yeah, you think they got wise to their...
and they've got a lot of Sunders now. Miller can't come in from the same way they did last time because Cobalt is on it. They know what they're about to do.
I see a lot of NG turrets all over the place, just spamming.
It's just watching the flanks. Yes, watching the rear entry point. Shields are actually down. It's probably going to benefit Cobalt more, although Miller is... It's hard to say. I mean, you look at the minimap, guys, in the stream, and you can just tell the difference. There's way more purple than there are blue. If I check the population numbers... Okay, it's 50 to 48, but I see mostly VS. I don't see NC.
They got to be forming up because on the point, there's... they got to be dropping down.
I mean, it's a pretty frantic firefight, although I tell you what's not happening. Reinforcements for Cobalt is not happening. So it's a very heavy firefight, 1-for-1 kill ratio, but the problem is Miller's coming straight back into it. And I don't see any of the Cobalt. Squad beacon at the very best. Maybe sort of suppression of the sky, but...
Here they come. Oh, they got the point. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, it was... Check this guy out. What is this guy up to? It's like, hey guys, I totally got this entry point. I suppose it's pretty decent because you can watch the entry from the spawn room. I guess. Yeah, it's smart enough.
Looks like VS are coming back in.
Magrider and PPA has come back into the...
2 guys left on the bridges here.
Yeah, we see a Magrider and he's using his PPA. I don't know if it's 1 or 2 guys. It's so chaotic. Basically, everyone's running everywhere. I wonder what the lag's now for infantry fighting right now. I'm about 150 ping. Oh, the thing is, Miller managed to get the hands on the capture point, but strong reinforcements coming in from the roof. Oh, it's the Galaxies. The shields are back up though, but the fact is, before the shields got repaired, they used to see these Galaxies flying over the base right now, so they must have dropped down and come in from the top level. And that's how they came in from behind the Miller guys on the ground. But it looks like it's mostly mercenaries doing the amp station defense.
They're gonna need some help because they got this thing locked.
I'm gonna get thanked for this later, but there's Frankie's nice sight. Hold on, we'll just get a good picture of Frankie. What are you gonna do for us? That ass. Okay, fan service over. As far as the capture point, it's definitely back in control of Cobalt. They've re-established themselves. You can see the engineer turrets are back into play. Light on maxes, but they have the capture point and mission system screwing with me. 3 minutes.
NC coming in hard with light assault. C4 everywhere. I don't think it did enough though. It was a nice tactic, but they needed to have like 6 or 8, not 3.
You need to get rid of all the medics, so that's the problem. Just kind of just one medic and it messes over, and we got 2 medics that are alive in the corner section. They're just picking up all their buddies.
If you were Cobalt,
oh, the SCU's exposed.
Point, or would you push for
no,
the SCU?
push for the SCU because it's still 3 minutes left on this base. Well, Mercs are at least Mercs and some other people are defending the SCU, but maybe Dime as well. The thing is, we can also see that some of the Cobalt forces are trying to push in from behind the SCU as well, but a small half squad.
That's a seldom used tactic. Not a lot of people end up, most of your forces when the SCU becomes vulnerable are going to be.
They've got the SCU as well.
Vehicle bay, so it's nice to see somebody actually coming in from the backside.
That's the thing is, this changes it from a 3-minute cap, or now at 2 minute 20, to literally a 60-second cap. Because as soon as that SCU goes down and is gone, it's going to be 10 times as hard. Because normally this wouldn't matter so much, because normally the guys stay inside. They don't have vehicle control, they don't have air control. They're all basically putting all their eggs in one basket, staying inside the shields. But in this instance,
but you also, you make it a secondary fight. If you spend a minute fighting over the SCU, that's 1 minute you're not fighting over the point.
Well, that's true, but in this instance, air control is all dominant in Cobalt's forces. Plus they have the vehicle control, and now they've got the infantry group on the point and the SCU. This is game over. Even if you make it back and go for the capture point, which you should because you've only got 2 minutes to go, you need to go to the SCU first. You have to go to the SCU first, which means, the cap point's 90 seconds away, and there's just too many Cobalts.
Too little, too late. There's a big max ground coming, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop, repair the SCU. And in fact, the BS, they see it coming. They're all falling back to the point. They're putting their bodies on the point, trying to make it as hard as possible.
Well, they realise the value because it's a case of, right, we got this. So you can see the maxes, and oh wow, they've actually made it to the point.
Where did
maybe
they come
beginning
from?
to flick. They came down from the roof. Oh, actually, where did the maxes come from? That's an incredibly good point. I don't know.
I have no idea where that squad came from. We were both looking at the SCU, and all of a sudden, people came in right behind everybody, us included.
Well, anyway, they got wiped out.
They got cleaned up, but it gave it. I am shocked Miller is not pushing out.
Okay, so
just a game. Who cares?
Hey, Lancer. So basically we have. I'm gonna make an all call in about 40 seconds just to see there's 5 minutes left to go. So in 5 minutes, 30 seconds to go, and Cobalt has taken the amp station, and that's kudos, man. Oh, and man, they're also taking Snowshear Watchtower as well while we're at this.
It took them pretty much the entire match to take Snowshear Watchtower. That was impressive.
It did, but the fact is that they've obviously sacrificed perhaps some numbers. But the thing is, Snowshear was a slow capture when we were here, and the Miller forces couldn't get to Bravo or Charlie, so they just slowly lost A, and they weren't able to get out. So it was a long 20-minute capture, but it got there in the end. And as far as the amp station, there's no Miller forces because they can't spawn it, and there's just huge air control, and air leads to ground control, and ground control leads to just infantry control.
I'm interested to see if Miller comes back and pushes on Snowshear now that
and
they're
completely cut off. They have absolutely no resources as well, because Two Stone's been captured and Everett Supply has been captured. Ellie Barracks is the only base that they have on the middle or slash south, and Snowshear, well, it's got about 60 seconds to go, and well, hold on, we've got 4 minutes 30. Let me just make an all call now. So, 4 minutes left, or technically 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Can you do anything? Can you save anything? I suppose maybe Miller's going hardcore to Snowshear, and if you were
Snowshear, that's it. But you got 17 seconds. You have 12 seconds that you have to take another point. I mean, there's a lot of people dropping in. Can't tell if they're NC or VS though.
Well, with the ability to redeploy, I'm assuming Miller could hypothetically redeploy anywhere.
Wow, that was
like quickly.
Steel rain just dropped down, and they're on C. They're doing it. Nope, missed it.
Trying to push up. Yeah, I can see. I saw that there's a flicker on Charlie. We got a guy coming in. It's pretty laggy, man. I don't see where all the shotguns are coming in from. I didn't even see that guy. But they did manage to get to the capture point. They did get to Charlie. It's really messy. I think
a little too late.
the problem that's happening now is that we're now going into single focal points. So it was all focused on the amp station. Now it's all focused at Snowshear because there's only so much time left over. Basically, they're all focusing what they can get their hands on.
They had 2 minutes after the amp station went down that they could have redeployed, or maybe at least 90 seconds.
Yeah,
they could have redeployed to Snowshear, and I was
when
surprised
you put
that they didn't.
When you put like 100 people in a fight, like 150, it gets really laggy.
I wonder
really
if they
difficult.
had that 96% bug and they just they couldn't push out in time. That could happen.
It's true. Well, the thing is, Cobalt has managed to get themselves Snowshear Watchtower. Point-wise, it's all dominating at the moment. I think Miller has been comprehensively beaten here. Well, more than comprehensively, it's been a dominating victory. And we have 2 minutes and 30 left.
It is 13 points for Miller and 78 for Cobalt. It was 82 to, for those of you who are wondering, it was 82 to 9 for the Connery Woodman match.
So it's close.
Yeah. So I mean, there's
pretty dominating victory.
It was pretty close, yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone else can make a difference. 2 minutes to go and 4 minute base captures. No. So this is the final score, guys. So we'll let them finish it off, and then I'll call it in minute 50. And that'll be that. But that was pretty dominating. Now, okay, excuses aside, you know, let's say Miller didn't have half the Air Force turn up, or they were slightly underpopped by a few percentile points, you know, for most of the fight. Tactically speaking, I mean, the air power just completely throttles Miller's ability to move. But also at the beginning, it was beautiful play because we saw Cobalt go for Esamir Munitions Corp, which stopped Miller's ability to get to the tech plant. And they couldn't just capture any of the neutral or adjacent bases at the tech plant, and they couldn't stop the hack because the fight was going at Esamir Munitions. And then when Mag Riders came into play, it was always Mag Riders versus Lightnings. So that also came into quite effective. We saw Miller go very heavy in the Southern Weimar Biolab, and Freya was literally uncontested, and there was no resistance aside from mere Freya substation until they got to Snowshear Watchtower, which took almost the whole 2 hours to get.
Yeah, I was wondering. Oh, here's looks like Cobalt's ready for the Gal War. They have look over the Octagon right now.
All right.
I'm surprised people haven't crashed into each other yet.
Wow. Yep. I think this is kind of premature, right? I'm going to tell them to call. I'm going to get people in.
But I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I've just asked them to go to the interview channel. Yeah, so we basically got a Cobalt flying Skywhale circus. I think they're just going to bomb Miller's.
They're going to the warp gate.
They're going a little bit of bad manners here. This is basically what's going to happen here. It's a case of ram the warp gate, or just say, hey, why don't you come out and play with us?
Yeah, definitely ram the warp gate.
I mean, that's pretty dominating. Last week, the attacking teams were not able to actually get to the warp gate, but this time, although Miller has a few more points, we might do something about, you know, points only count if they're connected to the warp gates, but right now it is pretty dominating. They've cut off the warp gate entirely.
Do you think that might just be because of the connection? Because I know that
well, we need to ask questions
as
it game's up.
Something else last time.
What's the final scores, Odin's?
Start fighting for real at any time
78 to 13.
So we've just asked the server representatives to come to the interview channel, so we'll drop in there in a little minute. Any final thoughts from you, Lanzer?
As far as the you know, missing outfits is tough. But if you've done your job, organizing it, then you should. I mean, I know for Connery, we have like 6 outfits on the bench just waiting to throw in their guys, and we need them every single time because we're always short on air. We're short on guys, you know.
If
we were even short last time.
Yeah, they're short today. Dudes. But the thing is, if half your air just disappears at the last second, what can you do? I mean, who can you call and who's free for 2 hours? Right, let's jump down to the interview channels and see what's going on. Okay.
Rush.
Hey guys, how you all doing?
Today?
Doing good.
It was fun.
Only half of us want to kill ourselves.
Anyone of you have seen more than 3 Reaver?
Not really.
So I guess I guess I'll start off with questioning. There's some chat going in the channel. Miller, what happened? Tell us all the dirties. What went wrong?
The Octagon. In that particular fight, in that particular lane, you cannot lose the Octagon because it opens up everything behind you. And then when we kept on crashing it with more numbers, it left us weaker in other lanes. They were able to push other lanes. And in the end, I decided to try and let them into Eli Amp, try and suck them in, hold them with fewer numbers, and try and get behind them. But again, they were just able to redeploy forces out of those fights, secure off the push on the Octagon, and we just couldn't get control back.
Right.
One battle lost the entire fight.
From the eye in the sky caster's point of view, we felt that Cobalt Air Force was all powerful, all dominant, and maybe not all present because they could only be at so many places at once. But it seemed that it was just basically allowing them to do whatever they want. It got so bad they were all using anti-ground primaries and secondary weapons, and it was just dominating and brutal to watch. Whenever you got to cap on.
Can I ask, how many guys did you have in your air section?
We had around 2.5 squad most of the time.
So, what, 30 guys? Roughly 30 guys, something like that?
Yeah. 25 more like.
Can we get the camo near non?
I mean, we had 48. I mean, so we really went for that. And at the start, we pre-shielded our 48 guys with a couple squads of kamikaze rammers, just to give them the leg up.
So Cobalt, what was the one thing, if you had to pick one base that you wanted to take off the start, what was the one thing that you were pushing for?
It's like Ulysses said, we wanted the Octagon. It is like the key to Esamir in this kind of rule set, so we really wanted it.
I think that got pushed into our favour because you guys went heavy for Ymir, so everybody just said, alright, we'll drop Ymir, go to the Octagon. Then it was completely overpopulated, and at the start, my guys had the orders to kill your capper at ISA mining and get on SB munitions, which we did, and once we did that, we basically locked you out at the tech plant, and we put everything we had in my platoon there just so we could get a ghost cap on the tech plant. It was quite nice to pull that off.
So one of the things... Sorry, go ahead.
I say, I mean, like, from the outset of our planning, we kind of knew that if we got off to a good start, we would be in a good position. Like, we really didn't want to get put behind and have to kind of play their game, play Miller's game. We wanted to get off on the front foot, and we thought taking the Octagon, hopefully taking Ymir, or at least contesting Ymir, and then more importantly that tech plant cap, and like Slara just said, killing that the ghost capper that heads for ISA mining right at the start, while flipping munitions core behind them, really just gave us a tech plant for free. And once you've got that, you feel you're in a good position. You can. And as soon as I see that, I thought, well, we're going to get a tech plant for nothing. I can afford to be a bit more greedy on places like the Octagon and the other bases in the middle of the map because I'm going to have a tech plant uncontested. So if I can secure it by taking SM munitions to the Octagon, even if I lose Ymir, even if I lose Freya, then I'm still going to have a lot of points.
Gorlin, you're kind of breathing in the mic, man.
The fact was that my guys, we drilled the we basically realized that we were going to hit the Octagon second, and we realized that we could actually make that work to our advantage because we had half our squad in anti-air sites with with afterburners, so came in, hit your guys as soon as they bailed out the Reavers with PPA, cutting your ground forces in half, and then we had Galaxies coming in right behind us with Maxes, just giving you guys giving them the double whammy of being down on forces and having heavy pushes coming in. We drilled the Octagon so much.
So the question I have, I guess, is rumours on Twitch chat was that Miller, we could see percentage-wise, it was 51 to 46%. So rumours on the Twitch chat which we would like to kind of say is that half of Miller's Air Force didn't turn up, or some outfit didn't turn up. Is that true? Not true?
It looks like the air didn't end up in force. I mean, in the past, we've actually had 48 plus sign-ups.
Basically, this time around, we only had around 3 full sign-ups of squads, but when the match started, it was pretty much max 2.5 squad of air present.
That is something that Cobalt, like, we had that problem with our woodman match. Like, the start of the game went badly for us because we had a lot of problems with people not signing up and not turning up, and then turning up 5 minutes late. This time we were really nailing it home to people to get in their squads.
We said the match starts at 8.
Yeah, we told everyone the match started an hour early.
Started an hour early, yeah.
Yeah, well, you live and you learn, guys. So that's we'll have to learn from this as well.
Do you think that going forward it's more of an organizational thing, that saying, hey, you know, if you're gonna show up, make you show up, you know, confirm, you know, double 2-3 times before the match, making sure that you know, you don't run into problems on the day?
Yeah, I mean,
we had that last server clash, but we did not have this this time around. So it's definitely an organizational level on my part from the air that totally failed. I didn't get the confirms well enough.
If I had to guess, if you're going to field a squad, you need to have like 16 to 18 names in actuality, because 3 people are going to cancel between signing up 3 weeks in advance. And then 3 people are going to have technical problems or social or family problems on the day. You need more than 12 guys.
To be
on
fair,
your list.
For the way that we organise our air, it's not one particular outfit. It's a mix of every single one of the flyers that plays on the server. And Seb stepped down after the last ServerSmash, and just this year wasn't here for this one because he was away. I think that's where the fail for us was that nobody was riding herd saying getting people signed up.
The other question I guess I had at the beginning, I felt this may have been intended, and I would like to know if it was, from Cobalt, where the push on the tech plant, the last 2 weeks we've seen that basically one server gave it up to the other server, right? And in this instance, Cobalt was very quick to get, you know, to ISA Mountain Pass and start the hack on ISA Tech Plant. But it was also Cobalt, at least to me, was very quick at getting to Esamir Munitions Corp to stop the NCIE Miller from starting a hack on ISA mining operations. And they held Esamir Munitions Corp for so long that the ISA Tech Plant was completely uncontested because Miller could literally do nothing. Was that intended?
That was the plan. Yeah, that was exactly the plan.
Yeah, the plan from the start, we kind of... like I say, people always decide to give something up because with only 4 platoons or enough people for 4 platoons, you kind of can't attack everything at once. And this time we decided Freya was the one we were going to give up. And we were going to go for Wymere and then the middle of the map on the Octagon and ISA Tech Plant. But when that Tech Plant thing pulled off, we had a plan to see, essentially, in our planning meetings, we said if we take ISA mining, if they don't take ISA mining operations, if we can get that Ghost Kappa killed before he flips the point, then, you know, we can get a free Tech Plant. So let's try that. And as soon as it gets pulled off, you know that you're going to get a tech plant for nothing. And we had originally planned to put a lot more into Wymere, and that plan changed as soon as that situation changed with ISA. And I decided to play more of looking for the northern half of the map, and put people back into Freya, and decided to let them have Wymere, just leave as few there as possible, and then concentrate on the fact that if I'm going to get a tech plant and I'm going to get the Octagon, that's 8 points. If I can take Freya, that's 13, and suddenly losing Wymere doesn't really bother you that much.
I mean, just from my point of view, I mean, we had guys take the gun deck from ISA, so we could use that to back up the air squad, and we had the rest of those guys in Skyguards and Sundays in the plateau next to the tech plant, between the Octagon. So we were trying to really give our AO the as much advantage as we could and support from the ground as we could to help us over the Octagon and SME munitions. And at the start we just had 6 guys basically just afterburn full speed to ISA mining just to kill whoever was going there to flip it. And I think he got it halfway, but he died. And then everybody else, literally everybody else, was sitting over a Rhyme, making sure no one could get that. And then the remaining squad was just straight on to B and C at SME munitions. And once that flipped, we just took everybody who wasn't in the anti-air operation, just dumped them on SME munitions and made sure that we were just holding your tech plant cap and your Rhyme back cap right there.
So, question. This is for my own enlightenment. So, Force leads. If you had to pick one squad or one outfit as your MVP, tell us who and why. You're not allowed to pick your own outfit, I should say.
MVP. What's an MVP?
Most valuable player.
Oh.
I'll
let MVO.
Let Miller go first.
Yeah, I'm not going to go with outfits, but I'm going to go with the platoon. Platoon 5, which was RPS, MDK, and FRC. Those guys were at Snowshear Watchtower for the whole match. And except for the last minute when I ordered everybody to go to Eli Amp, they held that for the best part of maybe, an hour and 15 minutes. Really, really impressed, guys. Very, very well played. Thank you very much.
Cobalt then?
A difficult question, but I'd probably say my second platoon, which is like Sam Denver's, so PTMC, an outfit I won't name for reasons of modesty, Reapers, and a mixed squad of other outfits. Honorable mention to Solaris' platoon as well, they did a great job at Snowshoe as well. Because while they weren't taking it, I just kept looking at it and seeing this fight's going nowhere, and from a point of view when you're in the lead, a stalemate is nice. But yeah, my second platoon had to redeploy a lot and move around from base to base to base, and did a good job doing that.
So I'll ask Cobalt, what is the, obviously it's still pretty fresh in our minds and we'll have to look back on it, but if you had to pick, what's the biggest takeaway that you had from this in terms of tactics and strategy and stuff like that you want to make sure that you remember for next time?
Confidence.
Yeah, executing the start, like the Woodman game. Like I said, we got off to a bad start there. We brought it back, but we did go to a bad start just from bad organisation of getting people into platoons early. This time our start was executed to perfection. We got everything we wanted from the first 10 minutes of the game, and from there you can just start rolling.
Miller, what do you think is the one thing that you want to take away?
Don't overreact when air doesn't perform as you'd expect it to in previous matches. We cut an air squad. Normally we'd have run an air platoon for this match. I mean, it wouldn't have helped because the air guys, it seems, didn't want to play tonight. But I do think that with this one particular server we were going to fight, we had to meet them player for player, hopefully skill for skill. And Miller have got the players that could have done that for us, but we decided to go with a weaker air force.
We were asking, we were talking about that in the Twitch as well. I was wondering if the Matherson match may have, fallen into this one, being like, hey, maybe we don't need this much air, or we need a different air setup based on what happened last time, and because of that, it trickled onto this one, and the opposite happened. You didn't bring enough. So I was interested in knowing that personally.
I mean, it definitely had an impact, but I think what we should notice, if we take a bit of a helicopter view of all the service matches that have happened on Esamir, the impact that air has on the match highly depends on where the front lines are. In the last server versus Matheson, it was mainly at Isotech plant and the AMP station, and I'd say that the impact air has on those front lines is fairly limited, as opposed to this match where the front lines were at the Octagon and way more south, where the geometry is much more open. So I'd say it depends on where the front lines are positioned. That's just my...
That's a good point.
Well, I can't keep the stream going on. I have to go see Edge of Tomorrow in about 5 minutes. So,
Sorry,
gentlemen, do you have any last...
Yeah,
go ahead.
Supposed to be given tour permissions. You want to say something about the air?
By all means, go ahead.
Giga clutch.
Clutch?
I guess carry on, Farah.
Oh, nothing. Well, thanks very much for turning up, guys. It was entertaining to watch. There's a lot of issues going on there, I'm sure. If Dotzer would be here, he'd be talking his monotone voice as normal, saying, like, subscribe, follow Anycast, blah, blah, blah. Go to the ServerSmash Reddit. Give us your feedback, what you felt like. I think there's going to be an administrative break soon, but I think we have like 1 or 2 more ServerSmashes to go. And thanks for playing. I think that's about it.
Follow us on Twitter at PS2 ServerSmash, and we do have a subreddit as well that we do a lot of information and feedback on there, so make sure you're following that and taking a look. Good job, Cobalt. Good job, Miller. Hope to see you back next time.
All right, yeah.
Thank you guys.
All right. Love you, Miller.